Please, can you hear me now? I got a feedback that you couldn't hear me. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. Good morning once again, and welcome to the market call. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Anna. This morning we'll be looking at the US market, indices market, US30, NAS100, known as Dow Jones, and US100. It's the Nasdaq. You know it as NAS. Some people know it as US Tech. Some US100. All of them, they are all Nasdaq. So thank you so much, and welcome to the market call. Quickly, we'll be looking at the chart. I'll be sharing my screen, and so we can look at the chart and look at what we have this morning. Okay. So this morning is quite interesting. Prices have done really so well since on Tuesday that we had our analysis, and we are back now to the chart. On the daily time frame, on Tuesday, we were saying the market was, especially for US30, that there's nothing we were there's no reference for us to take trade either buy or sell, right? In terms of area of interest that could trigger price to either go up or come down, right? And so far so good. What we did was to even leave price action, just leave it alone, because there was nothing really significant. Then we struggled, but even though we went lower time frame, nothing was still there, right? As you can see from here, all areas of interest have been tested, all of them. Of course, if you use fair value gap and all of this stuff, you might probably force a trade and then finally get a trade. Can it go your way? That's a different conversation altogether. But from our own strategy that we trade, we didn't get to see any setup, right? But then this morning, I'm looking at the chart, is giving some good. Is it, should I use vibe? Is that the word? No, it's Gen Z word. It's giving some good, not giving safe. Price action is quite in sync this morning, right? Now, we are still bullish overall. Daily time frame, all the time frame, we are still bullish, right? As you can see, even from daily down to 4 hour. That 4 hour time frame is what? It is clearly bullish. In fact, it's now forming a trend, which is one giving me reasons to be concerned. Right? It's now forming a trend to the downside. Okay, it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. Okay. All right, I'll look at this later. For the downside, however, price is still overall still what? Still bullish, right? We are still very, very much bullish this morning in terms of what is happening in the market. We are still very, very much bullish, right? So this is it. Price is bullish, but then we're beginning to break structure a bit, right? We're breaking structure. As you can see, this is the first break of structure here, right? And I'm waiting for the second break of structure, which will be where? Yeah. If that happens, what will I do? I'll just use this zone as liquidity sweep of liquidity, and then this entire zone as my area of interest. But now, the thing that is not the downside to this trade is that there's not much leeway for price to run to, right? We are still extremely bullish. So the sell 1:2. This is 1:2. This is where I'm expecting price to do a U-turn from. But then we can stay as well, get even up to 1:3, right? But what must happen first? We've seen the first break of structure or change in character, if that helps. And then I'm waiting for the second break, right? Price breaks this to the downside. Then I'll now use this entire zone as what? Inducement or liquidity grab, right? And from there, I expect price to come back into the zone. Sorry. Okay. Expect price to tap into this zone, use it, sweep liquidity, and then we continue to the downside. All right, saying that there's no clear structural point for price to buy. It could as well go all the way, because what I'm seeing here, okay, probably price can start buying from there's an hidden order block here. Price could as well start buying from this zone. But apart from this, all of this zone looks are mitigated already. Price have mitigated all the fair value gaps, every single thing that could make price go to the upside. They've been mitigated. No fair value gaps, nothing around this low inverted fair value gap or mitigation block. All of them, they've been mitigated. So for that reason, that's why I'll be looking for sales this morning, right? Price tap into this and then boom to the downside to this zone, right? So that's what I'll be looking at for. Then this morning analysis for US30 on a 3-hour time frame. Let's look at 3 hours. Let's see if we have something interesting on the 3-hour time frame. Still the same thing, pretty much. It's nothing really serious, right? Looking very valid. 2 hours. Okay, 2 hours, you can now start refining a bit just to get better RR. Now from 3.4 is now 4.4. Okay, it still looks very valid, right? Because price has mitigated this other block, although we didn't dig deep into it, but it tested the other block. So we could as well see the reaction from here. Price, moving to the downside from this zone. It's very, very valid. It's a possibility. It can happen. High probable trade itself. All right, that being said, this is 1:4 on US30 today. Let's look at US100. We have some trades on US100 that we marked out. Okay, so we start with US100 first. Let me go to S&P500. That trade. Yeah. So remember on Tuesday, we had this area marked out, right? And I was specific. On Tuesday, we were very, very much bullish. But also, we said we wanted price to come to area of interest. Let me use this replay too. Okay, this is Monday. So this is a replay too. As at Tuesday, this is what we have. Of course, price has opened the Tuesday candle, right? On daily time frame, small candle here. Tuesday, price was still very much bullish to the upside. But then we mentioned that we didn't have area of interest for us to take buys from that have not been mitigated. The only thing we had was this guy that has been mitigated a bit on the daily time frame. This guy dug into it a bit. So we're expecting for price to come to an area that is unmitigated. And that Tuesday, what do we have? On the 4-hour time frame, this was the entire zone we had. This was the entire zone we had on Tuesday. And we also said that this zone has been mitigated also. This zone has been mitigated on Tuesday. We mentioned it. And then we went to the 1 hour now. Went to the 1-hour time frame. And then we finally saw 2 zones that were unmitigated, this and this. But for this, we said the only thing here is just an order block in the middle of nowhere. So the reason we might want to take this trade is because probably price is a fundamental news or something comes up and then price dug into it and continue. You don't want to miss out at all on any move in the market. That is the only reason we would take this trade. However, I mentioned clearly that my own preferred trade will be this, because I know price will have like multiple price action and then have a form of inducement here that will be cleared. Price taps into this and continue its movement to the upside. Of course, now the overall target was like this, right? But then you have to be mindful and be reactive to what the market is doing, right? So eventually price came, dug into the other block, violated it. And once price violates another block to the, what's it called? Once price violates an order block, right, it doesn't respect another block. What does it turn to? It turns to a breaker block, meaning once price gets back to that zone, is eventually going to sell to the downside, right? I hope I'm making sense. And this is just free masterclass I'm doing for people here, right? So price dug into this dug into this other block. In fact, for me, if I was more skeptical, I wouldn't have entered this trade, right? Why? Because there's no even form of inducement here. There's no form. Price just dug straight into it. But because this level is quite significant, and I mentioned, right, it's quite significant. It's a very, very, it's a tradable price action, right? Price broke structure. here. Look at it. I'm dropping so many things this morning. Look at something. Price broke structure here on the 1 hour time frame. Price broke structure here. Okay, what's happening? All right. Let me increase the boldness. How do you take next? Price broke structure in this zone. What happens next? You want to buy from what? From a discount. What's a discount level? This is a perfect discount level, right? Meaning on this discount level, we now have other blocks also. Meaning this level is most likely going to move significantly, at least to produce something, right? And also look at why I don't want to even take the trade. What's this trade? Where's the other block? The first other block that was at the top. This is the reason I didn't want to take it. It was sitting in a premium level. So it doesn't make sense to buy premium, right? So what do? We ignore this. Like I said on Tuesday, you can watch the replay and then listen to the conversation all together again. Wait for price to come into this zone, and seeing that price has violated this other block, what does that tell you? It tells you that this becomes your first area of TP, take profit. In fact, once price comes here, you either close everything or close 80% and then break even, waiting for how this level is going to move. Because significantly, this is a very strong level. So it's broken. And what do we expect after price breaks such level? We expect that it will send price to the downside, right? So let me remove all of this. And then what price did, eventually dug into it, took profit, and then boom. This is a strategy on its own. If you can sit on this and look for this alone every week or every 2 weeks in the market, look for a valid order block that was violated to the downside, right? Or upside, and then wait for the retest of that. Look at it. Price dug into it and then continued, right? So this setup played out, but of course, it gave us 1:3. The risk to reward on this was 1:3. And then finally, price have gotten into this level once more. But then this is what has happened. On the daily time frame, we are still bullish, but on the 1 hour time frame, we are beginning to change structure to the downside. Let me delete all of this markup. We are beginning to change structure to the downside. We are beginning to shift structure to the downside. So what would I do this morning? What would I do this morning? This almost the same setup. We have a break here. You have another what? I'm looking for another break. That doesn't broken all of this level. I'm looking for another break here. If we have a successful break on this zone, or let's see, for any reason, whatever price does, I'll be watching out this level. This level itself. I'll be looking at this level, this other block here on the 1 hour time frame. Significant. Let me mark all of them together. This other block on the 1 hour time frame. Apart from the other block, we still have a fair value gap also. So this is kind of tricky in a way. You still have this fair value gap. 50% of the fair value gap can be, let me use the Gantt tool. Okay, are we following? So 50% of the fair value gap, price can tap from there and then continue movement to the downside, right? Like this, and then continue its movement to this. This one is to 5. Or eventually from this other block here. Early entry will be 50% of the fair value gap. A more refined entry will be just from the other block, right? 1:5, 1:6, not so much difference, but then I mean, it can make a whole lot of difference if you're trying to pass an account or something. All right, so this is what we have this morning, and this is what I'll be looking out for. On the 4 hour time frame, let's look again. Hope we're not missing anything out. No, we're not missing anything out. So this is what I'll be looking out for this morning, and hopefully we should see the market do something around this, right? The only concern is sometimes the market can be crazy. It just comes, depending on how the break here happens, right? If the break here happens with a body below and then reverses into this, then I will be very, very certain that, man, we're going down from this. The chart is going down from this, this point here, right? So that is what I'll be looking out for this morning. Let's look at the final one before we wrap it up this morning, which is US100. US100. Also, the same thing on US100, the same analysis on US100. Price dug into this. You can see this thing works. Price dug into this. And if I was even in this buy, the logical thing is to do is to exit. The moment price violates this like this, once price comes into this, exit or break even, so that at all price just comes to take you out on break even and with little profits, rather than it just violating your entire SL. All right. So this is what happened this morning, and then we've broken. This is quite interesting. We've broken structure to the downside. We've broken structure to the downside. For me this morning, what I'm seeing is the price most likely can, okay, look at the 4-hour time frame. Okay. Price can test this entire zone, and then we'll see a send off to the downside. On the 1-hour time frame, it looks a bit noisy. The 1-hour time frame, I would even prefer taking trades from the fair value gap itself, which is this, right? Which is this. In a way, it looks like a box pattern. Sweep of this left shoulder, break to the downside, a fair value gap, and then can use 50% if you are very, very aggressive. You can do this or above this close. And then 1:7, if you're somebody that you don't like any risks, taking any chance, just cover every zone, so that should in case price even goes beyond 0.5 into zero level and then test something above here, you can still be in the trade. This is it. A very conservative entry will be this. A very aggressive entry will be this, right? With this aggressive entry, you're looking at 1:11. Conservative, you're looking at 1:3. So it is what work. And you can even, in a way, share the risks. Say 0.5 in 2 places. And then you're able to make and maximize boost opportunity. All right, so this is what I will be looking at on US100 today, especially with what price action is doing. Remember, this sell is just temporal, right? A minor sell. I'm expecting US30, NAS, and S&P500 to rally all through October. And this is 25th already. We just have 5 more days or 6 more days to go before we enter October. So that we are not caught off guard. The moment price start rallying, we are not looking for sales, right? So this is what I'll be looking out for. Let me know if you have any questions. It's a good place to ask a question. And Arya, sorry if I didn't get that name properly. Nwada, Ayuba, Abila, David, Onioluwase. Good morning, Mr. Oni. And page exchange. Do we have any question? Do you have any question so that we can look into it together? Do you have any question? Let me know if the analysis was clear or you have any gray area you want me to look into. I'm waiting for a comment in the chat box. Do we have any question so we can look into it together? Is there any question? David, Oni, page exchange, Ayuba, David. Okay, I see we have no question. Gold, please. Wow, interesting. Okay. Interesting. Gold on the daily time frame. Look at this. Daily time frame. Now we have this also. Okay. We have this. We have this. Let me look at this. Okay. Let's look at the 4 time frame. Okay. Gold is reacting off from this other block, the 4 time frame. Will this reaction last? Honestly, I don't think so. The 1 hour time frame, let me see. Is there anything that can send gold to the downside? I'm not seeing anything here except for this fair value gap, this tiny fair value gap. All right. So I don't think gold would last with this bullish pump we are seeing this morning. I don't think so. I think it would still sell off. It will sell off. So I want to buy EU. My brother, you've done the analysis, right? You've done the analysis. I believe your analysis. And I also want you to trust your own too. Let me see. Oh, EU has been selling, shall. EU has been selling. This person has a markup here. I don't want to be the one to scatter the markup. Let's look at this. All right. This is it. Let's look at this. This is like a trend, Abby. Power time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think EU is going to sell to the downside. I honestly think so. I believe so. I believe so strongly. He is going to, it will buy it into some levels and then tank. Let me see. It can buy into this and then tank. Okay. All right. So we can see a buy from wherever it is, which I'm not even sure. But then if he happens to buy into this zone, expect a tank to the downside, massive tank to the downside, right? So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at this morning. So that's my area of interest. All right. No problem. But buy, I can't sell because this market, you can see what structure is doing. Structure has been broken multiple times, right? So, but then if it comes here, I will sell, and then continue its movement. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining this morning. Thank you for engaging. We'll meet again by 2 p.m. in the afternoon for the New York session, and we'll look at what the market is saying. If there's a need for us to realign our bias, we're going to do that by 2 p.m., showing you my area of interest. And hopefully price action will have given us more candlesticks that we can use to make informed decision in the market. I wish you all a profitable trading week. Ensure you use proper risk management across all your trades. And if you don't have any trades, don't engage. If it's not obvious, it is dubious. All right, guys. See you by 2 p.m. Cheers and God bless.